and the UN activate their already formed invasion, the Chinese and the Russians are going to want to take over because they don't want to be subjugated under the New World Order, and there's going to be a split. And the Illuminati knows this, and they're going to kill their family members in China and Russia with disease. Lucifer is driving the angels to fight each other. Lucifer is creating division among the peoples in order to take this world down. That's the big picture of what's going on today. Call me crazy if you want, but I can tie up those strings easily. And those of us that know this, it's just so frustrating. I'll be back after a special break. Way to California, Russian troops. The line would begin at Virginia and go straight west to the border of California. Now this is 1952. Midwest, Belgian troops. Northwest, including California, Irish troops. Canada, Chinese troops and Russian troops. Mexico, Chinese troops. And it's very interesting that the Mexican portion, which the Chinese were expected to exercise, includes San Diego, California. In fact, that area might extend all the way to LA. That it should not come of any surprise that, in fact, Billy Bob Clinton, I did not have sex with that woman, but I do like cigars. Look up Chinagate and Billy Bob Clinton. And also keep in mind that Billy Bob Clinton, besides coming up with the health care bill, and the National Police idea back in 93, 94, respectfully, not respectfully, of course, but respectfully for the location, come up with Long Beach Naval Base that was going to be leased to China. In comes Costco, Conex boxes, big Conex boxes, and it happened. So you got a supply line coming in to the United States from Costco, Long Beach Naval Base, to Mexico through the drug tunnels. You've got the Chinese that were positioned in Panama Canal. If I'm not mistaken, you can check it out if you'd like. You might also find a supply line between Panama Canal and some base of Chinese in Mexico. And it's not only a six-figure number of Chinese there, but a six-figure number of well-trained Mexican troops. You'll also, and I heard recently about Chinese in Cuba and Russians in Cuba as well. I always said when Katrina happened, it was speculation on my part, was that Katrina was going to be a beachhead all along. But first you got to move the Goyim. And you got to move them out of the south, since you're going to use it as a major landing area. And you got 3 to 6 million, and that's conservative from what my research indicates. 3 to 6 million UN troops already here, working with our troops. Now I'm going to provide you some headlines here shortly. Foreign troops, as planned, will be in total control of the entire North American continent. No sizable American troops will be allowed in this country. Is it any surprise that we have troops scattered all over the place and new wars starting? Because you see, family, they realized in 1933, 1962-64, 1972-73, or 72-74, that they could not use our American troops against us. just religion, and some of them are even Christian, for goodness sakes, and they actually have families here, so we can't depend on the police unless we brainwash them with ADL and Blackwater. We got to get rid of them and bring in foreign troops. Oh, no, wait a minute. We have a better idea. Since we are the Fourth Reich, literally, which is a New Age movement, the Third Reich was a New Age movement. New Age movement, Third Reich, Fourth Reich, New Age movement. I bet you that the New Age movement is Nazism. Yes! Whoa, what a clue that is. Well, let's go back to the history. What did Hitler do? Well, let's see, Nazism. Nazism, in one of 30 possibilities, I quote from Constance Cumby, an excellent researcher, Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow, 1983. She says, and it's true, I've checked it out, Hitler encouraged the recruitment and use of convicts. Convicts equals felons, for those that may not know. And let's see what it says for the New Agers. Yes, I know I'm being facetious. It's my nature sometimes when I get a little bit torqued off. The New Agers say, I quote, encourage the recruitment and use of convicts, reference Signs of Christ by Harold Baliaz. Specifically mentions it that there's many New Age projects designed specifically for the recruitment and conditioning of convicts, felons, to orient them to the New Age goals, the one-world religion, the religion of Lucifer. Well. Now, that would mean there's some indication that this is going to happen. Well, 2 years ago, it got my attention when California was going to release 50,000 prisoners, felons, from the state pen in California. Whoa, Illinois is going to do it. Oh, Alabama. Oh, and Massachusetts. My. Oh, and I found out they're trained in the Christian Identity Program, which by and large is a racist program. That's where the Aryan group came from, and the KKK, and God knows what else. No matter how you cut the mustard, they're linked up with the prison system, covertly. They get out, they go to Blackwater training. They get jobs, either in the police department or physical security or who knows what. Awaiting the day that they're called in to put a uniform on to become the national police, as was set up by Bob Clinton in 1993, carried forth through the National Care Health Act, and Obama signed it. Oh, by the way, Pelosi said don't read it until you sign it and then read it. I wonder why. Biometric chip is in there too. But there's no conspiracy. I wouldn't worry about it. Go back to sleep, turn the channel, go back to one of the others who are talking about they're still going to have elections. Yeah. And, and the Republicans, Democrats are fighting each other. They have no clue. I just turn to one of them and they say, well, the Republicans doing this, Democrats, elections. I just turn the channel because I know the person talking has no clue what's going on. Bless her little old heart. They get our troops out of here so they can invade us when the time comes. They will either have, our troops will either have to be disbanded or deployed overseas. Well, deployed overseas is already done. We believe it might occur as quickly as American troops can respond to Korea, to China, to Middle East, or wherever the heck they go. They have made sure that they're embedded with those doggone chips. Oh, you don't believe me? There's a lawsuit going on that now. Cry over that if you want to be a naysayer. They use ELF technology to affect either individually, a town, a state, or the country, using Gwen coils, ELF towers, ELF technology, electromagnetic energy. It affects people physically. It can cause cancer if they direct it towards you. It's called energy weapons, if you will. And trust me, you get hit with that, you ain't coming out of it. I haven't been hit with one, but you do hear the ringings. The ringings subside when you're imprisoned, put in a jail, or if you go out of the country, you get away from it, because they can trace you using DNA frequency identifying type code. Remember that. Write it down, because I will cover that either today or tomorrow on how our bodies are configured and made composite, on how they know the secret. They know the secret of how our spiritual bodies are encased around physical particles that are connected by radiation. That's kind of what it is, if you want to get technical and physical about it. We operate on a certain frequency level. You manipulate that frequency one way or the other, or a certain change, either by technology or by the Spirit of God. When you become saved, that energy is manipulated and it changes your DNA. It actually changes your DNA. Well, they can change it by technology. God does it by His will. I'm just touching. I'm even barely scratching the surface of this. In other words, let me get down to more direct. There's the ELF towers all over the United States. The Gwen coils can cover a 300-mile radius. They send out impulses of electromagnetic energy. They can regulate that energy, let's say, for example, 6.8 hertz or so. Okay, hang with me here. It's called electromagnetic mind control, body control. With those devices they put in the head back in 1971, they now have nanotechnology they can put in without you even knowing about it. It affects total population control. You have an ELF, Gwen towers, and HARP interconnection. Now, goodness, I must be heading that way, but I can't cover it all right now. I have some other things to talk about. I will cover it tomorrow. But they can control the weather. They can do mind control. They can have a behavior and mood control. They can send synthetic telepathy as infrasound to victims with the U.S. government mind control implants that's now been made into nanotechnology. So when you 300,000 rise up against the military, against the UN, they're going to crank up those doggone towers and those coils. We got a little bit of surprise coming. I'm not going to go into the virus that creates. That's another story. I don't want to go there right now. 6.6 hertz, not megahertz. 6.6 hertz, and it hurts. Causes depression. Excuse me. They can target a person by the DNA identifier. They can target a town by a spread or a state. 10.8 hertz causes riotous behavior, road rage result behavior. 7.83 hertz is the Earth's pulse rate. It makes a person feel good, producing an altered state of consciousness. We're all around 8 hertz. You manipulate that 8 hertz. It affects your body, your particles, your molecules, whatever the heck they are. And ELF waves, as identified by James Hurtak in Puharich, changes RNA and DNA, breaking down the hydrogen bonds. Whoa! They know what the heck they're doing, but they lose. Remember that. We'll be back at the station break.